Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
We have discussed up to this. Now the crop coefficient, this is a fixed as we discussed based on leaf orientation. For rice, this is 0.65, for maize 0.84, for sorghum 0.70. I think you might have seen the crop. The maize leaves are mostly the right angle to the main stem. So these are the extinction coefficient is higher in case of maize, and this is the more interception of radiations as compared to other crops. So these things, of course, we have already discussed these things. The radiation interception, that's IO into 1 minus e to the power minus k into Li. So you through remote sensing, because when you want to predict the crop biomass or at particular space, so by also drone technology, if you calculate the leaf, the leaf area index from that, then using that leaf area index, will be able to calculate how much radiation interception by the crops, and if you know the radiation interception, will be able to determine the biomass. So how you can calculate then this is the portion how you can calculate use of this radiation use efficiency or the radiation interception to predict the biomass and the yield of the crop. So this is the radiation use efficiency, gram per megajoule intercepted solar radiations, that is the measured over a period of time as the crop weight increase divided by the amount of solar radiation intercepted during that period. So that already we have discussed. Using this, we will be able to predict the biomass. Biomass is the radiation use efficiency into radiation interception, RUE. This is your radiation use efficiency and this is your radiation interception. If you multiply radiation interception into radiation use efficiency, this is gram per megajoules. This is gram per megajoules into megajoules per meter square. That gives gram per meter square as your biomass. And with biomass, you multiply harvest index. Harvest index means that is your harvest index is the grain weight by the total biomass. The grain weight divided by total biomass. This is the harvest index, means the grain weight by total biomass, that gives the harvest index. So you multiply harvest index and this is the total biomass. Radiation use efficiency into radiation interception, that gives total biomass, then you can get the yield. Yield is harvest index, the economic, how much economic part you get from the total biomass. Suppose your total biomass is 10 ton per hectare, the economic part is your 8 ton per hectare, then your harvest is 8 by 10. Right, so 0.8, that becomes the harvest index. So if you have the harvest index known for particular crop, that is a fixed, because this is a total biomass, how much comes to grain portion, almost in a reasonable range. It may not vary a lot as per specific to a particular cultivar or particular genotype. The harvest index is known, then the biomass is simulated or predicted using remote sensing technique. Using that equation, you can predict the biomass, multiply harvest index, you will get this, the grain yield. Grain yield can be calculated by harvest index into radiation use efficiency into radiation, total radiation interception. Is it clear to all? Yeah. Any clarification required, please? Any doubt?
Sir, can you please explain again what is the relation between the angle in which leaves are arranged in the plant and the extinction coefficient?
Yeah, extinction coefficients are calculated based on the for different crops, because the leaf angle determines the light absorbance by the light interception by the crop. So particular crop, suppose leaf area remains same. Okay, there is no change in leaf area. So in that leaf area, if you change the angle, make it 30 degree or 90 degree or 60 degree, then the radiation at the bottom of the canopy will be changing. Could you get me?
Sir, I was asking how would it change? I mean that if what I think is that if the angle is like 30 degree or 40 degree, then I guess the radiation received by the lips would be less, right?
Yes.
Instead, if I was just asking that, sir,
Yeah.
so does that mean that if the leaves are arranged in about 90 degrees, then the extinction coefficient would be the most? And if we tilt the leaves towards the plant stem, then the extinction coefficient would decrease.
Yes. Yes. That's what I am telling. If you
Oh,
tilt the
oh,
leaves to the 30-degree, the extension coefficient will decrease.
okay, sir, okay.
If it is 90-degree, then it will be maximum. And most of the crops have similar phenomenon. Accordingly, you have calculated the average extinction coefficient for crop specific, depending upon the leaf canopy architecture.
Okay, sir, okay.
Yeah. So anybody has any clarification here? I think you got this one. Once you know the radiation use efficiency, that is a constant, and radiation interception is a dynamic one, because that depends upon the leaf area index. Once you know the leaf area index, then you calculate the summation radiation interception throughout the growing season. You will calculate the total biomass, multiply by harvest index, this is also constant one. Then you will be able to get the grain yield. Finally, the purpose is using this solar radiation interception concept, we will calculate, we will predict the biomass and grain yield of the crop. That's what we can do. If you know by this understanding, we will be able to predict the biomass and the grain yield using this solar radiation interception concept. Well, so if you know this one, I'll give you a small numerical. I think you can try this one. Suppose my point, the information I am giving here for this question. Crop is rice. Suppose for rice crop, rice. Average leaf area index, suppose and suppose duration 20 days. Sorry, 120 days. 120 days. And leaf area index LAI, average LI. Average LI equal to 2.0. Then you have the K value, the extinction coefficient, that is equal to 0.65. And this, total incoming radiation. Average incoming radiation 20 megajoule per meter square per day. 20 megajoules per meter square per day. Rice 120 days. LI, okay. Harvest index HI is equal to 0.60. Okay. And what is the total biomass at maturity? You can have in ton per hectare. Tons per hectare. Then grain yield. Per hectare. Yeah. Can you do this one? Crop is rice of 120 days duration. Average leaf area, leaf area index not constant, dynamic one that changes over period. Sometimes it may be 0.5, it may increase to 4.55 and it may decrease again after maturity. So looking at this one, we calculate the throughout the growth stage I have taken, average leaf area index remains around 2. It may change from 0.1, 0.2 up to 5 also. And the K value is a constant one. And total average incoming radiation means average incoming radiation. Sorry. Average incoming radiation around it may vary from day 1 to day 120. From day 1 it may be around, you can say 10 megajoules or 12 megajoules, sometimes 20. Again it may decrease around 18 megajoules or 10 megajoules per meter square per day. But if you see the average, sometimes it may be more than 20 and sometimes it may be less than 20. Average has come as a 20 megajoules per meter square per day. Harvest index 0.60. So now you calculate the total biomass at maturity and the grain yield ton per hectare. How much you can estimate from this information. Okay. So the student who can finish, please tell me. So here I have not given one value. What is that? What is missing here? One information has to be given.
Radiation usage.
Exactly. RUE. Radiation use efficiency equal to suppose 4 gram per megajoule.
So biomass is 13.08.
Yes, please. Biomass is
13.08.
okay. 13.08. Okay. Can you recheck? Okay, I'm noting down. 13.08 ton per hectare, right? 13.08 what ton per hectare?
So, but what we have to do with the duration?
Duration, multiply that one duration. You have to see radiation interception, the average radiation interception, that's a megajoules per meter square per day. Then duration is 120 days, that much of accumulation will be there. Total radiation interception. The summation of radiation interception is the average radiation interception, daily radiation interception into the duration 120 days. Okay, let me make it very clear. Once again, I will explain. Those are facing some problem, I think. Using the radiation interception, that means you need to calculate how much radiation interception by the crop. I is equal to IO, radiation at the top of the canopy, into 1 minus e to the power minus k into Li, is not it? That gives the radiation interception by the crop on daily basis. But remember that this is the total incoming radiations, and photosynthetic active radiation is 50% of the total incoming radiations. When you talk about radiation interception, that is only photosynthetically active radiations. So that will be 20 into 1 minus e to the power minus k into Li divided by 2. That is the radiation interceptions on daily basis, megajoules per meter square per day. You multiply by 120 days the crop duration, and how much radiation is intercepted by the crop, that you can get. And multiply this radiation use efficiency, that gives you total biomass. And then multiply harvest index, that will give you grain yield. Okay.
Sir, why did we divide it by a factor of 2? I could not get it.
Because no, when you talk about the radiation interception, this is only photosynthetically active radiation, not the total radiation. Crop does not receive all other radiation except photosynthetically active radiations. And this average incoming radiation means the total radiation. Of this, around 50% is your photosynthetically active radiation.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, after multiplying radiation interception with number of days, then we have to multiply it with harvest index and radiation use efficiency to get biomass.
No, but harvest index is multiplied to get the yield. Before that, you have to get the biomass. Okay. Biomass is your radiation use efficiency into sum of radiation interception. Sum of radiation interception multiply radiation use efficiency, you will get the biomass first.
Sir, biomass is about 7 kg per meter square.
How much?
7 kg.
7 kg per meter square.
Huh.
Did you divide the 2 because of the photosynthetically active radiations? Take care of that one. The total incoming radiation is 20. Photosynthetically active radiation is 50% of the total radiation.
Yes, sir, I didn't divide by 2.
Yeah.
The answer is 3.5 kg.
Yes.
Approximately.
3.5, that's true. Correct. Convert into tons per hectare.
That will be 3.5 into 10 to the power 4.
Yeah. Tons per hectare, no?
2.
1 you are getting kg per hectare, multiply by 10, that will give the tons per hectare. Kg per meter square multiply by 10, that will give tons per hectare, isn't it?
Yes.
Sir, I guess it's coming around 21 tons per hectare.
That is for grain yield, right?
What, sir?
Grain yield.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, 21 tons per hectare, and the biomass coming
35.
35. Yeah, I think this is the correct value. Others, please check if anybody is getting any other value or somebody has any problem, please. So I'll try to clarify because I know there is a difficulties because of the online. I am also feeling sorry that because I am not able to convey properly. There is some gaps are there because of no understanding. But I hope you are able to make it. Anyway, so when there is difficulty, then you will have you have to put more and more interest to get it so that will give better understanding. I would like to know how many already. Asa, who got this one? The 35. The name is 35, 20 or 21. You told me.
Sir, I said 35 and my friend Avila said 21.
Okay. 35, 21 also same because once you get the biomass, then multiply harvesting days, you get the grain yield. 21 for the biomass or grain yield, Abhilash?
Sir, 21 is for the total yield, sir.
Biomass,
Sir,
total biomass.
Sir, no, sir. Grain yield.
Grain yield.
Sir, grain.
Okay,
Yes, sir. Sir, biomass is coming to be, sir, 35.
This is correct. Yeah.
Sir, I have a question here. When we are telling about biomass, do we consider the entire plant or just the outer coating of the grain?
We consider the entire plant above the soil. That is biomass.
Okay.
That is what we say harvest index. The entire plant above the ground level, not root, excluding root. Everything comes under biomass. Of that, only this much percentage goes to your grain.
Okay.
Harvest index means the amount of grain weight you get from the total biomass. That is your harvest index. Total biomass includes your leaves, stem, straw, everything. Grain, leaves, stem, whatever they are in the plant, everything comes under total biomass. And if you exclude the rest thing and the grain is one part and rest comes one other part. Then you get the harvest index.
Sir, can you explain once more why it was divided by 2?
Okay. See, when you are taking the radiation interception, the total average income is the total radiation 20 megajoules per meter square per day. This includes your visible range and also the near infrared. When you receive radiation from the sun, the radiation reaches our surface. Almost 50% is photosynthetically active radiations, and rest 50% your near infrared. Near infrared is not intercepted by the crop. So that's why you take the 50%, because when you go for the plant interception, plant does not receive the radiations beyond photosynthetically active radiations, that means beyond 0.4 to 0.7 micrometer. So in general, of the total incoming radiations, around 50% is your photosynthetically active radiation, that is within range of 0.4 to 0.7 micrometer as the approximation value. So when you calculate the plant interception, we will calculate it based on the incoming photosynthetically active radiation. Of that, how much is intercepted by the crop? Because we have no concern about the total radiation. So that's why you are multiplying the 0.5 dividing by 2, because we assume that almost 50% of the total incoming radiation is your photosynthetically active radiation, that is within the range 0.4 to 0.7 micrometer or 400 to 700 nanometer. Could you get me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, so
Yes.
does that mean that the higher percentage of other radiations in the light, for example UV and IR, the lower is the the utilization by the plants? I'm trying to say that, for example, when there is an ozone hole, more and more UV radiations are coming. So does that mean that the photosensitive capacity of the plants will reduce?
Yeah. So that's a good question. Yeah, see, if there is a ozone hole, and more UV radiation coming, it will affect the plant growth. It's a harmful effect, like on human being, on plant itself. So it will have a harmful effect on the crop. So there will be many diseases, pests, and also the crop growth will be affected. And if you take total radiation coming here more, and the plant receives only photosynthetically active radiation, then efficiency definitely low. If you talk about the total radiation, of the total radiations, if you are getting, and if, in general, what you see, the total radiation, approximately 50% photosynthetically active radiations. Then we have carbon dioxide does not, even the carbon dioxide fixation, does not, of the total the photosynthetically active radiations, maybe few percent, 20% may be intercepted accepted by the carbon dioxide, utilized by the carbon dioxide for conversion to carbohydrate during photosynthesis. So if you more and more coming, and definitely depending upon radiation incoming and the efficiency of utilization, if you see plant level, plant hardly utilizes 6% of the total incoming radiation in general. The efficiency is very low. If there is around 6% of the radiation is utilized by the crop for conversion to biomass. Did you get me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it.
Yeah. So let me know any students they have any problem with this understanding this problem. If you have, please clarify. One girl student also he has given some answer. Who is this? Bhavna or something? Somebody who?
Sir, actually, my biomass is still coming like around 30, not 35.
35 what?
Tons or something.
Biomass 35 ton per acre is fine, is correct.
No, but so my answer is 30, not 35.
30?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it shows that maybe you have made some
Calculation mistake or
yeah. Some calculation mistake made there. So it's 30 means there is something, the value you have taken somewhere, maybe somewhere else. Any other, please, other student? Sahil Rajendra,
Yes, sir.
did you get it?
Yeah.
Priya? Yes, Priya, did you get the answer?
Yes, sir, I got the answer, sir.
Okay. Anybody could not agree with the answer? Anybody is getting different answer? Please tell. Deepak Kumar,
Yes, sir. Got it.
got it. Ritvik,
Yes, sir, got it.
okay. Harishwar, could you get it? Harishwar Niradi, not responding. Jayachandra,
Yes, sir.
okay. Jayswana,
Sir, got it, sir.
okay. Okay, I think anybody has any more? Ambika,
Yes, sir.
all have got same answer? Well, so I think if you are getting that answer, no deviation, I think you have got you have understood this one. If somebody you are getting different answer also, they have understood definitely. But if something wrong in that calculation, you can check this one. Or anybody has any problem, any doubt, if you want, then I'll be able to clarify. Any further doubt if you have? Okay. So I will go to next on temperature. So this is related to the biomass simulations or the yield forecasting. So what is the role of temperature? The temperature in reality, temperature affects the crop, influence the crop growth and development. As solar radiation is there, so solar radiation gives as a thermal effect. So there are many enzymes in the plant body, especially for photosynthesis. They are activated by temperature. The temperature plays a great role for the growth and development of the crop. But what they use the temperature for the yield forecasting? You use the temperature for the forecasting or the yield as yield solar radiation for the biomass simulation or biomass estimation. So temperature is a part of that one. The temperature is used to predict the growth duration. Suppose you have, as I have shown, there is a different growth rate for different duration. So it's very essential to predict the growth duration for a particular phases. And for that particular phases, the growth rate remains almost constant. So to know the duration of particular phases and the transformation from one phase to another, as you discussed earlier, that is mediated by the temperature. Temperature plays a great role for knowing the duration of a particular crop. So that you calculate growing degree days, that's a degree Celsius days. The growing degree days, the heat or the growing degree days was proposed to explain the relationship between the growth duration and the temperature. The growing degree days, the summation of the T average minus T base. What the T average? T average is the daily mean temperature, the maximum temperature, minimum temperature by 2, and T base is the best temperature for the crop. The base temperature, the temperature below which the crop development stops, that is known as the base temperature for the crop. So this is a crop specific. So different crops have different base temperature. Suppose rice has 10, wheat 4.5, maize 10, and pearl millet 10. So if the temperature remains below this base temperature, so most of the the processes stops. The crop may remain in that stage for longer period. You might observe that if you are growing a crop, suppose rice crop, you are growing in winter season. The crop remains in that particular stage for longer period unless until the temperature comes beyond 10 degrees Celsius. So temperature is below 10 degrees Celsius. There is no transformation of growth stage from one stage to another. The crop continues to remain in that stage for a longer period, and duration also increases if there is a very low temperature. So to have a duration for a particular stage, we calculate the growing degree days, and the growing degree days is a photothermal unit or the heat unit that remains constant for transformation from one stage to another stage. It's a growth stage specific. So if you know the growing degree days for a particular growth stage and the average temperature of that location is known and base temperature is a constant for a particular crop, then we will be able to determine the date or the exact date when the crop is going to attain that stage, when the crop is going to transfer from that stage to another stage. The change of developmental stages we can predict, or the duration for a particular growth stage we can predict by knowing this growing degree. Once growing degree days is known, that is constant, and knowing the average temperature, based on the average temperature of that location, we can say, okay, the crop is going to flower on this day, or the crop is going to mature on this day. That we can predict. And once if the duration is known, that will help us in predicting the biomass, because that for that particular duration, then how much biomass can be accumulated, that also we can predict well by using this growing degree days concept. That's a heat unit. The heat unit concept can be used for calculating the duration for particular growth phases, and also that will help you for as a estimation of biomass. As you did for the earlier example, we multiply simple the duration, right? So as average you are taken, but you know the particular duration, that is based on the temperature. Based on temperature, the duration can change. Duration is not a fixed one. That varies as per the temperature. If the temperature changes, the duration will be changing. If the duration changes, then you have the biomass, the accumulation, that will changing as per the duration of the crop phases. So here, if you want, we can have a small example to know how we can predict the duration of a particular phases. Suppose in case of, you can see a rice crop. So if this is a T average, so once you have the daily T average minus T base addition, and if you know growing degree days, you will be able to calculate the duration of a particular growth phases. So how we can calculate this one? Suppose for the crop rice, again, for the you can have the same crop as rice, optimum temperature. That means if you have the optimum temperature, then efficiency is 1. The temperature beyond optimum, either the higher or the lower, efficiency comes less than 1. For optimum temperature, you have the efficiency, the factor becomes 1, and your production, the yield become maximum. The temperature is below optimum or maximum is beyond the optimum, higher than the optimum, then efficiency becomes less than 1 in both the cases. So there is yield reduction, whether it is a low temperature or is a very high temperature. That is the point. So using this concept, we can, as I have shown earlier, at every stage, during the crop growing stages, if you know the duration, based on this, at every stage, and once the duration calculate from here, how much duration takes, at every step, we will be able to simulate the time step also. If you know we can predict how much biomass is expected after completion of a particular growth stage, and how much duration the crop takes from transformation from one stage to another stage, and how much biomass can be expected at that stage. That will be able to predict using this solar radiation and the temperature interception concept. Okay, this is all you can see. There is a high temperature stress condition. So the low temperature stress condition both have adverse effect on crop production. So high temperature make the pollen development, mineral nutrition uptake, they are affected, shoot growth also affected. Low temperature, there is survival, and so the photosynthesis is also problem, water transport is a problem. The very low temperature, cell division, elongation also gets affected by low temperature. So these are some example of the temperature at different growth stages, because every crop they have a particular range of temperature, the optimum temperature for the specific growth stages. and they get the optimum temperature, their yield remains almost no maximum. The temperature is the beyond optimum, either the lower or the higher than the optimum, then the yield gets affected. So this is all about the effect of climatic factors on the growth and development of the crop. I think I finished for the lecture as of today. So we'll have the class test. The class test I'll be bringing in the on coming Monday on 28th. So whatever I have covered from the beginning to up to today's class, that will come your class test, and this will be of 20 marks, 1 hour class test.